Memphis Police Department right now investigating a homicide, and this scene is still active. It appears that this house is almost completely destroyed right here off of Justine Street. You are out in the Memphis area. You want to make sure that you keep your eyes open for this 15-year-old girl, because this really is about bringing her home safely. You can still see the tire marks left from the suspect's vehicle, and it didn't take long before this attempted robbery spread into nearby neighborhoods, causing afternoon chaos at this intersection where their son and loved one lost his life. After that verdict came down, there was just a sigh of relief in the courtroom. Moments after that, Zach Adams was taken out of the courthouse, put into one of these sheriff deputy vehicles, taken back across the street. Minutes after that, the Bobo family stood right here on these steps. Those doors were supposed to open 30 minutes ago, but as of right now, it looks like people are still standing outside. Some of them have been standing outside for more than 8 hours. We do know that President Donald Trump is here inside of the building, and once again, he is moments away from taking that stage from different organizations, but saying that they're all here for the same message. And that message is a message of acceptance. Many of them holding signs like this one that say "Immigrants make America great," and restaurants. But it's also only seconds away from this school. We're walking down Jackson Avenue near Claybrook Street. This is the exact area where the city of Memphis wants to focus the revitalization project, a safe place. Instead, a shooting took place right here in the lobby. You can still see the blood there on the floor. Could be as young as 14 years old. Memphis police still looking for that suspect in this general area. If you have any information, you are urged to call the Memphis Police Department. In Memphis, Sasha Jones, WMC Action News 5.
Sasha Jones reveals how.
Getting to this moment.
Thank you. I'm happy.
Took 11 years. And to understand Tanya Martin's excitement, we have to go back, way back. She's got a ticket to ride. To a time when the Beatles were kings, and this barely recognizable bus somehow found its way to Memphis.
In Memphis, Tennessee.
The rumor is that this hunk of steel was once a Beatles tour bus. The bus broke down and was left right here under the Union Avenue overpass just feet away from these train tracks near the Humes Heights neighborhood. True story? We don't think so. But what we do know is this bus has been sitting here for decades. Fast forward to February 28th, 2007.
There was a guy standing in my kitchen. He assaulted me, and I punched him back.
Homeowner Tanya Martin was attacked in her own home
And maced me out the front door.
The robbery was not random. Martin says her attacker was homeless and had been living in the abandoned bus, spying on her and taking things from her property.
He had things of mine that belonged to me on that bus.
The reason Martin called the WMC Action News 5 investigators a full 10 years after the attack.
The bus is right back there.
Is because she learned someone was once again living inside the bus.
I want those guys to find a place to live. I just want that bus gone.
What we discovered when we went to the bus was jaw-dropping. A fire pit, pots and pans, a makeshift closet, even a chandelier.
I really don't want to talk about something outside my circle.
A man living inside of the bus wouldn't show his face. He spoke to us through plywood being used as a door. He told us he wasn't the bus's primary tenant.
But I'll tell him about it, and I guess it'd be left up to him.
A few minutes later, he stormed off.
I'm gonna let y'all deal with this.
They can see our entire neighborhood.
This is Sasha Jones calling.
The WMC Action News 5 investigators called the city of Memphis and contacted the Shelby County Tax Assessor's office. We discovered the land is private property. This Shelby County Tax Assessor's map shows what appears to be the bus on property owned by Mid-South home buyers.
A part of your property.
We called the company, and a female employee originally told us Mid-South home buyers didn't own the property. Hours later, the owner called back, and after doing some research, he said he learned the company did, in fact, own the land. In an email, Terry Kerr said, quote, "We were surprised to find there was a bus that had been there for many years on our newly acquired property. We understand the concerns of our neighbors and the safety concerns for all and appreciate the work Channel 5 and the city are doing to TCB." Over the phone, Kerr offered to remove the bus, but before he even had the chance, Memphis code enforcement, working off our tip, took action and hauled away the eyesore. All thanks to one determined neighbor and help
With a little help from my friends.
from the WMC Action News 5 investigators.
11 long years.
And finally, it is gone.
It is.
Sasha Jones, WMC Action News 5. That investigative file includes not just paperwork, but also video and audio files. For the first time, we are hearing in the officers' own words what prompted them to shoot and also why they say they feared for their lives. Less than a month apart, the TBI stepped in to investigate two different officer-involved shootings in Memphis.
They're in the doorway where I'm at, and I'm telling them, drop it, drop it, drop it.
Officer Leon Dixon is heard on this recorded interview with TBI agents. Dixon was identified as the officer who shot and killed Alexio Allen, who family members said was having a mental episode the night he was killed. The report details Allen's previous encounters with police, including this 911 call he made to police where he describes being fearful for his life.
I believe I'm being watched. I believe somebody is out to try to kill me.
Police reportedly went to Allen's home twice. The second time was after family members called 911 asking for an ambulance. It was during this second encounter that officers described Allen as being agitated. While talking to officers, reportedly a struggle started between Allen and his fiancée over a rifle. That's when Officer Dixon says he repeatedly asked them to drop the weapon.
That shotgun is pointed and tilted directly at my chest, and at that time, that's when I fired my weapon.
In a separate case, we hear Officer Marshall Smith, who was off duty at the time, call 911 after reportedly shooting Luis Soto at this Memphis gas station.
I'm a cop. I'm in a vehicle. I just shot a guy who pulled a gun on me.
Smith was with his fiancée during a visitation exchange of their 4-year-old who had been with Soto. Witness statements say during the exchange, Soto pulled out a gun and pointed it at Smith.
No, I'm the one shot him. I shot him. He pulled his gun on me. He cocked one in the chamber and told me to me on me.
And in both cases, charges were not brought against those officers. We did reach out to the family members in these cases, and at the time, they had not seen the full investigative file. However, the family of Luis Soto told us they do plan on filing an appeal. In downtown Memphis, Sasha Jones, WMC Action News 5. The sound of heartache. A deafening reality for these 6 families. Their loved ones a part of a staggering statistic.
It's never gotten any better. It's still, the pain is still there.
228 people killed in the city of Memphis in 2016. The most homicides in a single year since 1993. We watched as families grieved at candlelight vigils and set up makeshift memorials. None of it bringing back the sons, daughters, mothers, and fathers lost to violence.
A person that I was supposed to spend the rest of my life with, my soulmate, he got snatched away from me just like that.
These faces show the pain, torment, and agony hundreds of other Memphis families endure.
My heart is dead. I'm crushed because my baby gone.
My son didn't even get a chance to graduate. I had to walk the stage for him.
And these documents show that as the city's murder rate reached a breathtaking high, the number of arrests did not. During one of the most violent years on record, the number of arrests made by Memphis police officers fell by 5,000. In 2015, Memphis police officers made a total of 77,549 arrests. Last year, the number totaled 72,004.
That's indicative of you don't have 500 more police officers out there, so you're not going to have the same amount of arrests.
Memphis Police Association President Mike Williams says just this week, more officers submitted resignation letters, many of them looking for better benefit and pension plans.
We're not saying that police officers are the be-all, see-all, know-all fix to the problem, but they are part of the solution to the problem.
Williams says it also comes down to making an impact in the communities where young people see too much. In 2016, more than half of homicide victims were under the age of 29, and MPD data shows the majority of homicide suspects are between 19 and 22 years old.
People are dying and being shot and stabbed and raped and robbed and murdered in front of them.
A lot of people are scared to work with them, but you can't help them if you're scared.
Timothy Jones started the mentor group Big Homie after turning his life around. He says he works to inspire young men and works with them into adulthood.
Nobody wants to come alongside of them and become a lifetime partner with them.
There are also successful county-run programs, like the Shelby County Juvenile Ceasefire Program. Of the 89 juveniles who entered the program after committing a gun-related crime, only one has reoffended.
I just got it and I just shot 3 times.
Donovan Kilgore Russell has been on both sides. He was charged with a gun-related crime, but he has also been the victim of armed robbery. And in 2016, 4 of his friends were killed on the streets of Memphis. His mom worries he could be next.
I'm afraid for him. I'm very concerned.
She says the ceasefire program centers on prevention, teaching young people like her son there is an alternative to using a gun. Just this month, the Memphis Police Department started the Violent Crimes Unit, with preventing murders being the #1 priority. But with roughly 30% of homicide cases from 2016 still unsolved.
But you still can't forget about the cases that have already happened.
5 of the 6 families who met with the WMC Action News 5 investigators want to know what police are doing to catch the people who killed their loved ones last year.
I can call them every week. Every week I can call them. But I want them to call me.
Because this pain,
I'm doing my own investigation because I'm going to find out who did this to him.
Will not go away. For the WMC Action News 5 investigators, I'm Sasha Jones.